Have you ever wondered how a single moment, a single act, can completely rewrite the future? It sounds like something out of a movie, but throughout history, assassinations have done just that. They are the ultimate plot twists, shocking events that have sent ripples through time, altering the course of empires, sparking wars, and changing the world as we know it overnight. Today, we're diving deep into some of the most consequential assassinations in history, exploring the plots, the people, and the profound aftermaths that still affect us today. From ancient Rome to the modern era, these are the stories of how one person's demise changed everything. Let's start our journey in ancient Rome on the Ides of March. 44 BCE, the man at the center of it all? Julius Caesar. By this point, Caesar wasn't just a general. He was the dictator, perpetuo, the dictator for life. He had amassed unprecedented power, and for many Roman senators, he looked a lot more like a king than a servant of the Republic. A group of these senators, calling themselves the Liberators and led by figures like Brutus and Cassius, feared that Caesar's ambition would spell the end of the Roman Republic. So, they hatched a plan. On that fateful day, as Caesar entered the Senate, they surrounded him. One senator pulled down his toga, the signal. The conspirators then drew their daggers and attacked. Caesar fought back, but he was overwhelmed. His death, however, didn't restore the Republic as the assassins had hoped. Instead, it plunged Rome into a new series of brutal civil wars. Caesar's heir, Octavian, along with Mark Antony, hunted down the conspirators. The power vacuum left by Caesar was eventually filled not by a restored republic, but by the Roman Empire, with Octavian becoming its first emperor, Augustus. The assassination meant to save the Republic ironically accelerated its complete transformation into an imperial monarchy. Fast forward nearly 2 millennia to another event that lit the fuse of a global conflict. It's June 28, 1914, in the city of Sarajevo. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, is visiting with his wife, Sophie. Tensions in the Balkans were already at a boiling point. With Serbian nationalism clashing with the Austro-Hungarian Empire's control over the region, a secret society known as the Black Hand had trained and armed a group of young Bosnian Serb nationalists to assassinate the Archduke. Their first attempt that day was a clumsy failure. One of the assassins threw a bomb at the Archduke's car, but it bounced off and exploded under the next car in the motorcade, injuring several people. Ferdinand, shaken but unharmed, insisted on visiting the wounded in the hospital. But here's where fate took a bizarre and tragic turn. His driver took a wrong turn, and while trying to reverse, the car stalled right in front of a cafe where another one of the assassins, a young man named Gavrilo Princip, was standing. Seeing his unbelievable luck, Princip stepped forward, drew his pistol, and fired 2 shots. One hit Franz Ferdinand in the neck, the other hit Sophie in the abdomen. Both were fatal. This single act set off a diplomatic firestorm. Austria-Hungary, with the backing of Germany, issued an ultimatum to Serbia. When Serbia didn't fully comply, Austria-Hungary declared war. A complex web of alliances then dragged nation after nation into the conflict. Russia mobilized to support Serbia, Germany declared war on Russia and France, and Britain declared war on Germany. The assassination in Sarajevo was the spark that ignited the war to end all wars, World War I, a conflict that reshaped the map of Europe and cost millions of lives. Now, let's travel to the United States in the midst of the turbulent 1960s. April 4th, 1968. In Memphis, Tennessee, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the iconic leader of the civil rights movement, was standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel. He was in Memphis to support a sanitation workers' strike, continuing his tireless campaign for racial equality and economic justice through nonviolent protest. As he chatted with his colleagues below, a single rifle shot rang out. Dr. King was struck and rushed to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead an hour later. The nation and the world were stunned. King was the voice of peace, the advocate for nonviolent change. His assassination unleashed a wave of grief and anger that exploded into riots in over 100 cities across America. In a sense, the assassination was a devastating blow to the philosophy of nonviolence that King had championed. While the Civil Rights Act had been passed years earlier, The movement lost its most prominent and unifying leader. The immediate aftermath was chaos and despair, and many felt that the Dream King had spoken of so eloquently had died with him. His death radicalized parts of the movement and deepened the divisions in American society. However, in the long term, his martyrdom also solidified his legacy. The Fair Housing Act was passed just days after his death, and his vision continues to inspire movements for justice and equality around the globe. The assassination of Dr. King didn't end the struggle for civil rights. Instead, it transformed him into an enduring symbol of that struggle, a martyr whose dream could never truly be silenced. Our next story takes us to South Asia, to New Delhi, India, on October 31st, 1984. The Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, was walking from her residence to her office for an interview. As she passed a gate guarded by two of her own bodyguards, they opened fire on her with their service weapons. The assassins were Beant Singh and Satwan Singh, both of whom were Sikhs. Their motive was retaliation for an event that had happened just months earlier. Operation Blue Star. This was a controversial military operation ordered by Indira Gandhi to remove militant Sikh separatists who had taken refuge in the Golden Temple, the holiest shrine in Sikhism. The operation was successful in clearing the militants, but it resulted in heavy casualties and significant damage to the sacred temple complex, deeply offending the Sikh community worldwide. Her assassination by her own guards was a shocking act of revenge that immediately triggered horrific consequences. Anti-Sikh riots erupted across India, particularly in Delhi, for several days. Organized mobs targeted Sikh neighborhoods, resulting in the deaths of thousands of innocent Sikhs. The violence left deep scars on the nation's psyche and created a chasm of mistrust between the Sikh community and the Indian state that took decades to begin to heal. The assassination of Indira Gandhi and the subsequent riots are a tragic reminder of how political actions can lead to cycles of violence and retribution with devastating human costs, changing the social fabric of a nation in a matter of days. From a prime minister to a pop star, our final story shows that assassins don't just target political leaders. December 8, 1980, outside the Dakota apartment building in New York City, John Lennon, a global icon, a founder of the Beatles, and a prominent peace activist, was returning home with his wife, Yoko Ono. Earlier that day, a man had approached him for an autograph, and Lennon had kindly obliged. Now, as Lennon walked toward his building's entrance, that same man, Mark David Chapman, called out his name. As Lennon turned, Chapman fired 5 shots, hitting him 4 times in the back. Lennon was rushed to the hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival. The world was plunged into mourning. This wasn't a political coup or an act of war. It was the senseless murder of a beloved artist. Lennon's death marked the definitive end of an era. For millions, the Beatles represented the hope and idealism of the 1960s, while the band had broken up a decade earlier. Fans always held on to the hope of a reunion. His murder shattered that dream forever. It was a brutal collision of fame and obsession, a dark moment that highlighted the vulnerability of public figures. The assassination of John Lennon wasn't about changing a government. It was about extinguishing a voice of peace, art, and imagination. It was a cultural assassination that left a permanent void in the world of music and marked a tragic loss of innocence for a generation. From Caesar to Lenin, these stories show the immense and often unpredictable power of a single act of violence. An assassination can fail in its primary objective, like the plot against Caesar, yet still cause the very outcome it sought to prevent. It can be the one spark that ignites a global inferno, as with Franz Ferdinand. It can steal the voice of a peaceful movement, like the murder of Dr. King, or unleash a firestorm of communal hatred, as seen after the death of Indira Gandhi. And it can silence an artist, ending an era of cultural hope. Each of these events serves as a stark reminder that history doesn't always move in slow, predictable tides. Sometimes it turns on a dime changed forever in a single violent moment. Thanks for joining us on this journey through some of history's most pivotal moments. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. Let us know in the comments which historical event you'd like us to cover next. Till then, stay curious.